Local Music live and direct. How you doing? It's Local Music Monday. It's me, Z. I hope you're enjoying your Monday. You can catch us live on Twitch. You can catch us live on YouTube. And, of course, you can catch us live on Facebook. Shout out to the sponsors. Thank you to my brother, Just Joe. I got a chance to hang out with Just Joe this weekend. Joe is an amazing musician, and you can book him for a party today. He plays like 5,000 songs, literally 5,000 songs. You can check him out at justjoe.com if you're interested in booking him. Thank you to Upgrade Brain Formula. This right here, this little potion of love, gets me going each and every day. Upgrade Brain Formula. This one's the cherry flavor, and it just helps me go throughout my day, wakes me up, and it's not really like an energy drink. It's more like a brain receptor type of thing. It opens up it unlocks the channels in your brain, if you will. It's not like a 5-hour energy drink where it gets you all crazy and sketchy and all that. None of that shit happens. What it does is it moves the brain, it moves the blood to the front of your brain and gets you going. Go to freemanformula.com. Use promo code DISRUPTION for a 15% discount. Thank you to EJA Moving Services. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit up Eddie and his crew at 315-335-0516 or EJAmoving.com. You want a good meal this week? Go to Joey's at 307. It's 307 Mohawk Street. Give them a call today for reservations. It's 315-864-3527. It's pretty much the only way you're going to get a table. The place is packed all the time. Shout out to the Grabsky family, too. They're doing great things over there on Lower Mohawk Street. Thank you to Utica Coffee. Today I'm drinking the Italian roast, and it is delicious. Go to uticacoffeeroasters.com and check them out online for all their delicious coffee and merchandise. They're doing some really cool things over there. Thank you to my attorney, Dave Longaretta. If you need legal advice, give him a call, 315-735-6162. Thank you to Saranac, saranac.com for all their merchandise and all their great, delicious refreshments and drinks and beers and everything they do at Saranac. And then, of course, last but not least, thank you to Ballsy, ballwash.com. Use promo code members only for a 15% discount. Get yourself some nut rub. Matt Lomeo, I feel like you can use some nut rub in your life, man.
Yeah, man. Send a bottle over, I'm here in Los Angeles,
Well, I'll see you this week.
You're about the lifestyle. You got to rub the nuts.
I'll see you this week, brother. Well, I'll make sure to get you a tin over there and get it going. Matt, thanks for taking the time. You're sitting there in Los Angeles. You're coming to Utica in a couple days, actually. You sure you're ready to fly into this weather, bro?
Yeah, just a few days of it, that's great. It's a lot different than walking out on tax day and there's still snow on the ground. That's a little, that takes some mental toughness, which, I may have lost in that way anyway, by now after a few years here. So,
brother,
a little bit of snow, yeah.
I don't think you'll ever lose the mental toughness, right? Where they say you can take the boy out of Utica, but you can't take the Utica out of the boy.
Yeah,
I feel like that's you, my man.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I was thinking today, I was like, man, I'm trying to think of how long we go back, because I remember you as a kid playing on stage at different events and at the electric company. And how old were you when you first started your professional career? Well, not even really your professional career, but the first time you took the stage and started playing with bands and music and stuff.
So I started at 9 years old.
9.
Yeah. So that first summer, the summer of '98, I had a harmonica. I'd been playing it since Christmas time, and we played the Steuben Park, Utica Monday night location. And that was our first gig, me and my brother Adam, who of course you recall.
Of course.
And the following summer was Woodstock '99. I was 10 then, so I already been playing for a year. I was a vet,
You played Woodstock '99?
Yeah.
Yeah, on that local stage that they had going on?
Yeah, one of the welcoming stages, yeah. Yep.
For a 10-year-old kid, what was that feeling like?
Saw some firsts.
First set of titties?
Yeah, it was cool. My mom was working for Planned Parenthood at the time, so she had a booth where, they were keeping everybody safe, distributing condoms, things like that. And I had a pass because I played anyway. So after doing the show, we were there hanging out. I remember seeing some of the bands. Yeah, man. it was an experience. We weren't there on the final day, the day of reckoning there. Yeah.
Woodstock 99. How about that as some of your firsts? To have that
Yeah.
as some of your first, it's an amazing. So were you were gigging, right, all along throughout those whole informative years, right, throughout your teen years and whatnot? Were you like gigging and then going to high school the next morning?
Pretty much, yeah. I think, as I remember, more gigs were on the weekends. I don't remember having that kind of turnover, but I certainly do remember driving home late at night from, live music bar hours, whether it was my father driving us or later on my brother, who was older than me. Yeah, I
And there he goes. I don't know what just happened. All right, technology, you gotta love it. There he is. How you doing, bro?
yeah, I'm good. Somebody was calling me.
So yeah, you were gigging as a kid nonstop and doing your thing. How so? When about did you move away? When did that happen? And if my memory serves me correctly, you moved to Nashville before you moved to LA, right?
Memphis.
Oh,
Yeah,
Memphis,
yeah.
Memphis.
Common mistake. Yeah, I moved to Memphis in about 2015, and I was there for a couple years. I went back to Utica again for a spell, and then I moved to LA in March of 2018. So I'm actually approaching my 5-year anniversary of moving out here to LA.
What made you go to LA?
Well, to be honest, the first thing was my good friend Rob Roth. He preceded me here by about 5 or 6 years, so I knew I had a friend here, place to stay, and just in music history, LA so huge. Any kind of music, it's been here. The greatest players of a lot of genres, bands I liked. Of course, I didn't mind the idea of like no winter. Uh, I still don't mind that. Um, but having a friend that was here, that really helped me make that transition. And I went here sight unseen. I packed my car up. I drove it out of a blizzard. Actually, my mother was like, "You got to leave right now. Come on." It was snowing hard, but that was my day. Had on the calendar, and yeah,
And off you went.
yeah.
So what did you get right into the music scene out there? Once you got going, did you get into some open mic nights? How'd you get running as far as playing goes?
Yeah, it didn't take me too long. I was already checking up on what venues had music and looking for places I should go to before getting here. So then I started to check out some of those spots. One of them was a jam night on Tuesday night at an Irish pub here in the Valley. I've always lived in the San Fernando Valley since I've moved here. And I started to check that out, and that formed a really important network for me. And today, the guy who was running that jam, he moved to Arizona. I took it over. Um, it'll be 3 years ago. I guess it already has been 3 years. Yeah. I took it over about 3 years ago. And that's a great connecting point for me and a lot of musicians. And found that we have a pretty tight knit scene here in LA. Once you kind of get into it, uh, it's pretty easy to figure out where everyone's at, where people play.
Yeah. Are you gigging every night of the week?
No, not quite.
No.
Sometimes it seems that way. Right now I'm coming off of a double. I had Friday, Saturday off though, so I have friends who are bass players, drummers, um, they don't have a Friday night off, Saturday night off. But because I'm usually the leader, I might not have something, in a given week. But I have a lot more studio work. I always have a gig Tuesday. Then I have, other odd bookings here and there. So not every night. What I'd really like to do is get touring, as an artist who has original music out, trying to make that level up to do blues festivals and maybe theaters, things more on that scale. That's the next step for me.
Well, speaking of touring, you are headed this way coming up on the 26th. You're at the Great Salt City Blues Concert at the Palace Theater in Syracuse. And then on the 27th, the Blues Society getting together at Nothing Fancy. And you're performing pretty much all your original music that night with the Boardroom Blues Band. Who backs you when you come to town? Who's your band?
So the Boardroom Blues Band will open, and that will be some guys who are on the board of the Blues Society. I love the band name. It's great. For me, I will have two guys that live in Nashville, actually. One is Phil Leone, who I'm sure a lot of your listeners know that he was one of the premier drummers out of central New York. He's lived in Nashville for about as long as I've lived in LA. And I know we won't miss a beat with Phil. Oh, good pun. He recommended a bassist, Max McKee, who is a Syracuse native, also lives in Nashville. He was ready to go home for the holidays as well. So we're going to have Max on bass. I don't know too much about him, except he's highly recommended by Phil. And, you've been in bands, let the drummer be happy, right? They know something. And on guitar, I'll have Morris Tarbell, who is, kind of the greatest rhythm guitar player for sure of the blues scene in Syracuse, greater Syracuse area. Someone I worked with a lot before moving. So confident in the band. Gave them a bunch of songs to learn. I'm not the guy I was when I left. I do, all originals and different kinds of music mixed into the blues. So really excited to give people a peek at that Tuesday at Nothing Fancy.
Awesome. And that starts at 7 o'clock. $15 gets you in the door and helps out the Blues Society. And, of course, our friend here, Matt Lomeo. Hey, Kenny McConnell saying hello. Justin's also checking in saying sorry he can't be here. Justin, unfortunately, he's doing some school things with his son today. So, we miss you, Justin, and we'll see you next week. That's for sure. Right now, I'm hanging with Matt Lomeo, and Matt recently, and I don't want to bring it down a little bit, but we lost a friend, and that's Greg Dean recently. And I know you spent a lot of time with Greg back in the day. Talk about your experiences with Greg. I mean, he raised you in a way, if you think about it, because you guys were kids when you were playing with him. What were some of the great things that Greg taught you along the way?
Greg Dean, he was an all-timer, man.
Yeah.
He was like out of the book of professional musician, and my brother Adam has been saying this for a year or two. He kind of realized Greg was the first professional that we worked with in the way that he could relate so much of his experience, his knowledge of various musical styles, that attitude you get after doing so many gigs. He's like a view into that life, and that's a life that I'm still in. So Greg he's so important to the musician I became. Some of the things he would do, he liked to play time, because we were young musicians. We had some things to learn. Sometimes he would have us play one note, just or get together with a metronome and just play one note just to learn the fundamentals of, playing on time, having the right rhythm, keeping your tempo. He was a bass player. He had a bass player's personality. I've known some bass players who maybe they should play keyboard, right? Greg's favorite song to play with us was one where he figured out that he could play eighth notes, and then he could change. I don't know if he even did the 5 chord. He figured out that he could do this whole song and he could just do that and play only 2 notes. He'd change when the chord would change. He'd go ding 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 do 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 do. That was his favorite thing to play, and I think that says a lot about what type of guy Greg Dean was as a musician.
Yeah, he's greatly missed, and the guy had what an amazing life he had too. I mean, he got to play with Davy Jones back in the day, and he did a lot of stuff back in the '70s, and played with you guys, and so he's definitely missed. And
so many stories, yeah.
You got a good one? You got a good Greg Dean story for me?
Do I have a good? Oh man. Well, one funny one. We were doing one of these train gigs. I don't know if it was the one that goes to Cooperstown or Old Fort, but it's like this train. You play as long as the train goes till it gets to the stop. Then the train stops, you take a break because, I don't know, people get off for a second. Whatever. So we're not FCC here, right?
No, you could swear, yeah.
Yeah. So you go. So Greg was like, he was wanting to take a leak or like get another drink, and we're like 70 minutes into our set. I think we were between songs. He's got his bass hanging from his shoulders. When is this fucking train gonna stop? He just screamed it out. It was so funny. It was great. So many more, just riding home late at night from gigs. It'd be like, it was a funny crew. It was like my brother Adam, me, by the time my brother was driving, it was like, so it's like a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and Greg, I guess 18 and 16, more like it. But yeah. Probably a lot more stories, too.
Again, to have the old man in the bunch, though, I'm sure you learned a lot from him.
Oh, absolutely. And he was just a riot. Everywhere he went, he just engaged with people. And I remember doing a gig with him once, and there's this knife. It was like a nice steak knife. So he's talking to the waitress about the knife. He's like, oh, this knife. Oh, it's so great. She ends up going, take it. Take the knife. Yeah.
Right on. How's your brother doing? Is he still playing? Is he still gigging?
Yeah, he is. My brother Adam's a music contractor.
Oh, yeah?
Mostly New York City area. He lives in Connecticut now. But he contracts, whether it's weddings, corporate. Actually, one of his biggest clients is the nurses union. He does a lot of gigs. He might play on the gig, he might not, but he's supplying music to various events in the New York City area and beyond. And he's been doing that for a few years, and he's successful at it.
That's awesome, man. An amazing player. That kid was a shredder back when he was 12 years old, and I'm sure he's even better now. And do we expect an appearance from him at any of your gigs locally, or?
I wouldn't count on it. I'm not sure what his plans are. I'm actually going out his way to make sure to go see him where he lives for a couple days. So I don't know if he's going to be in Utica.
Right on. How about you, brother? What are some of your future plans? You got any albums on the horizon? You mentioned about touring, but what else do you plan on doing with your music and your career after these gigs are done?
Yeah, one really big one I have in January is the International Blues Challenge. So I used to call Memphis, Tennessee my home. I lived there for a couple of years, but I'm going back in a different way for this because this is it's a competition of blues, um, which isn't actually, get thrown in the drunk tank the most times, sleep with the most women, eat the most chitlins. It's not that kind of competition. It's actually to play the best uh, blues performance. So I won my region here uh,
Awesome.
for the Santa Clarita Valley Blues Society. I don't really live in Santa Clarita, but for the competition, it was a good one. It's right a few miles north of me. So I'm representing Santa Clarita in the International Blues Challenge. So I have a band coming with me from here in LA, and we're going to go to Memphis, and it's a tournament style. So I'm going to play to live to the next round, and then hopefully win the whole thing. And it'd be really good publicity for my career and things I have going on.
Let's go, brother. Let's do it. Let's win this
Yeah.
shit. Represent
Yeah.
the U.
Yeah, you didn't know you got a dog in it. There you go.
Oh, we did know that, bro. We already knew that. I'm just so proud of you, though, man. It takes a lot of balls to do what you did and just pack up and move and go and do your thing and explore and find your way and navigate through this life. It's awesome what you're doing, and you really found your way, man. And I want to see success and nothing less out of you, boy.
Hey, I'm trying every day, man. Yeah, I won't be the one to quit, that's for sure. I know what I can bring to music, and it's definitely something I'm going to follow for life.
Matt, how many albums you have out?
I have two out. I have my self-titled Matt Lomeo, came out in 16. Had a lot of covers, things like that. More straight ahead blues. And my really all original debut, When You Call, was released this summer. And that's more of what I hope to continue to do in the future. All my songs, uh, various musical styles, but all with the blues kind of flavor. Play the harmonica on everything. Sometimes in some places, you might not expect to hear harmonica. And you asked me about recording. I'm looking to get started on the next one. I already did a little bit of pre-production work with my producer here in LA, Terry Wilson. And I'm hoping to get that started soon for a 2023 release, hopefully later in the year.
Are you constantly writing?
Yeah, but Gordon Lightfoot's a hero of mine. He said, you got to sit down and say, I'm going to write a song. And you just do it like you wash the dishes or like you make a sandwich or go for a walk, right? I don't really do that. Although he's a hero of mine, I haven't really emulated that yet. Songs kind of come to me. It's almost a passive experience where it's like, either some shit happens to you or, just a lyrical idea, and here comes that song, and you just gotta let the song bring itself out. And I don't really get to choose when I have that inspiration, but it comes often enough that I already have the next album written pretty much.
Oh, cool.
Album worth of song. Yeah.
Are you a lyric guy first or melody guy? Are you like using your voice memos on your phone? Like, how do you go about writing? What's your writing process?
Yeah, definitely a voice memos on the phone guy. What I don't really comprehend is what chord it is. So that's always a struggle when I'm teaching a song to guys. Is it dominant or is it, major, minor? I don't know. What I know, I usually know lyrics and melody are kind of simultaneous for me. And right at the same time, I could really tell you what the bass player should be doing, just about. That makes me tough to work for bass player too, because I know the bass line. I feel like I'm a bass player somewhere uh, back here because I always have an idea of what the bass line is, and that's what tells me what the chord structure is. Um, but pretty much some of my best songs were written all at once like that, where it was like, I know the melody, I know how the verse goes, I know how the chorus goes. I might not be able to tell you what chords they are, but I could tell if it was wrong in terms of what I hear. So that's kind of my process.
Right on, brother. So when you got a night off in LA, are you out checking other local musicians out?
And I'm like a lot of people. I love a night in too. I cook for myself. 3 meals a day most of the time. I might just make some dinner and hang out for a night. But also, it's a part of the occupation that you got to get out there. So yeah, depending what's going on, if it's maybe another jam night or something where I can get a little bit of practice or try something out. Maybe it's a friend playing there that I haven't seen in a while, so I'll go do something like that. Not every night, because you can't. But there certainly would be the opportunity. That's something I love about LA. Um, not to draw like a negative comparison, but like we have the Mohawk Valley Blues Society has their jam night once a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great event for musicians in upstate New York. Um, Here in LA, there's 5 or 10 blues jams that are going on every week that I know about that I could go to. So it's really always good opportunities to network, sharpen your skills. That's very available out there. I will say we lost some good events after the pandemic, though.
Yeah.
Even here, as busy as it is, there's some things I used to go to that just haven't come back. Um, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But coming up on the 26th, he'll be at the Palace in Syracuse for the Great City Blues concert, the Great Salt City Blues concert, and of course,
it's a mouthful, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. And then on the 27th, on Tuesday, at Nothing Fancy with the Mohawk Valley Blues Society, that starts up at 7 o'clock. Faith Burke is saying she's looking forward to seeing you on the 27th in Vernon.
All right.
Everybody's coming to see you, Matt. It's a homecoming.
It's going to be great. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's been so long since I've done a proper performance in the Utica area, so I'm really excited for this one. I don't think anybody who will be there has heard any of these songs live. I'm going to say, like, no one has heard these like they're going to. So it's really exciting.
Awesome. But what are you listening to nowadays? Any new bands you can put on my radar?
Man, I'm the worst for anything new. I'm always listening to something from like the 1920s or 30s or 70s, 80s. Man, what could I put on your radar? Well, somebody I like a lot is Kingfish. You know who Kingfish is?
I don't.
Kingfish is a young man out of Mississippi playing the blues guitar at a very high level. I'm not sure if they've made the record that he deserves quite yet, but man, his talent on the guitar is really remarkable, and he's somebody who you should look out for.
Kingfish.
He's like, yeah, Chris Stone Ingram, aka Kingfish. He's great. What else am I listening to? I don't know, man. I'm always in the past. I might even be in like a '90s rap rabbit hole sometimes. Like listen to some Wu-Tang Clan or Nas. Like I've listened to a lot of that this year. Yeah, my Spotify Wrapped was like pretty wild. Like, not to brag, it was like, wow, I am a pretty weird guy.
Very diverse, though, which is good. It's good to have an eclectic playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, well, you can't stay in the same ways, and
Yeah,
that's something I just kind of take for granted at this point. But like, I could be a blues harmonica player. I just listen to blues. I listen to the classics. That'd be fine, but you need to have some different ideas coming from diverse places.
yeah.
And that's something else I enjoy in LA. I play all kind of music. I got buddies who do country. Last night was kind of like a country gig, sort of. Did a lot of Christmas songs. I don't do country in terms of my career, my artist profile, but I enjoy playing it.
Yeah, broaden your horizons, and that just makes you a better player anyways, better musician if you tap into a lot of different things, like tap into some jazz and some blues, and, well, you're always into the blues, but jazz and country and, Americana and some bluegrass, and, it's important to broaden your horizons.
Yeah. It's all the same, man. It's like any of the divisions in music, like it's an illusion. It's all the same thing.
How about a Matt Lomeo hip-hop album?
Hey, I'm waiting for some rappers to call me for some harmonica parts. No, really, I mean, there could be an angle for that.
For sure.
But
you should hit up our boy Tone Spliff. He's out there in L.A. He just won DJ of the Year in some magazine, actually. Local boy doing great things out in L.A. Yeah, he's doing some big things.
Well, Central New Yorkers are always go-getters. We run into each other out here. Surprising amount of people from Utica, Syracuse are out here, and we dream big, man. You know that. You have this media venture that we're participating in now, from someone who owned a club, and we dream big.
Gotta.
From people from Utica, right? I mean, I don't know what it is, but we got that fire.
We got that fire for sure. It's that tough, thick skin for dealing with the winter. Like you said, on tax day, if it's snowing, that can toughens you up a little bit, thickens your skin, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Matt, how could people check you out online if they want to check out your music or social media tags? Give everybody how they can find you.
Yeah, so the great thing about my album, When You Call, is I managed to get a distribution partner. So it's out everywhere, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. My album, When You Call, I'd be delighted if any of your listeners would check it out. Let me know what they think. MattLomeo.com. My socials are all Matt Lomeo or Matt Lomeo Music, pretty much. Instagram, Matt Lomeo Music. So I try to make myself pretty easy to find if you can spell my name. Lomeo.
Simple and easy, brother. And don't forget, he's playing in Syracuse on the 26th at the Palace, and on the 27th, they catch him at Nothing Fancy with the Mohawk Valley Blues Society. That starts up at 7 o'clock. Matt, thanks for taking the time, man. I appreciate you getting up in the morning and hanging out. It's like a 3-hour difference and whatnot in L.A., so thank you for taking the time. It's great to catch up with you.
No problem.
I'm super proud of you, man, and keep doing all the great things that you're doing and keep in the loop. And, hey, if you got an album coming out or anything, please use my platform at any time.
I will remind you when we're getting close to the next one, for sure.
I love it, man. Well, thanks again. And also shout out to my sponsors, Upgrade Brain Formula, my buddy Just Joe, EJA Moving Services, Joey's at 307, my attorney Dave Longaretta, Saranac Brewery, and Ballsy, ballwash.com. Use promo code members only for a 15% discount. Matt Lomeo, you're a gem, man. Have safe travels, and we'll see you soon. Everybody else, have yourself a good day. Later.